Okay, well, today we're going to be working on the race trailer for Drag and Drive. This is my little Sundowner Mini Go, and I picked it up last year. Drove down in Oklahoma and picked it up from the good folks at Sundowner. And I've seen a few guys in the Drag and Drive world that are using this trailer quite successfully, and it kind of fit my needs and my budget, so I just went for it. But one of the things that I want to change is this this front jack stand deal. It comes from the factory with that flat plate that goes on the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. And it's just hard. You got to lift it up to push it around and stuff. So I want to put a wheel on the front of this thing. And so I went over to the usual suspects and I picked up a wheel, but as you can see, even with the jack fully extended in the up position as high as it'll go, it's not giving me enough ground clearance for this wheel. So what I want to do is I want to raise this wheel up 3 or 4 inches so that it comes up here and it's not going to hit the ground when I'm operating the trailer, and then I can just bring it down and wheel the trailer around. So what I think I'm going to do, if you see the way this is made, it's got this flange soldered or welded onto this tube. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this flange off and I'm going to build a new one, and I'm basically just going to lift this thing up about 4 inches, so it's about like that, and then that should give me plenty of room underneath for the wheel to go. So that's kind of the plan, and I don't know if it's going to work yet or not. Remains to be seen, but that's the plan for the time being. So we're going to go find some raw material, make a plate, and then go from there.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, well, we're on to plan B. My original idea of raising the factory stand up, it still didn't give me enough clearance when the car would go over a dip or something in the road. I only had, even with it all the way up, I only had about 4.5 or 5 inches of clearance under the wheel, and I just don't think it's enough. So I went over to the usual scumbags and I got myself one of these folding up jacks, and so now I'm just trying to figure out the best way to attach it. I'd like to weld it on, but my trailer tongue is aluminum, that's steel, so no welding there. So I think what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to drill some new holes in this bracket. I'm going to put this bracket on like that approximately, or maybe like that, and then I'm going to just bolt it straight onto the tongue of the trailer, which is 1/2 inch thick aluminum, and then on the inside I'm going to put a steel plate just to distribute the stress and the load so that the aluminum, the holes aren't going to elongate and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the plan, so I'm just going to have at her. Okay, so it's the next day. I didn't bother showing you how I drilled holes and bolted that thing on, but you can kind of see the gist of what we did there. And this aluminum is 1/2 inch thick, so it's really solid, and this thing isn't going to go anywhere. Works really smooth. I did change the wheel out, a little more rugged wheel, and I got rid of that goofy plastic thing. I've seen these break, and I didn't want to do that, so put a little more rugged wheel on it, and works nice and smooth. I'll put some Velcro or something on here to hold that up out of the way, and we should be good to go. So the next task on the trailer build is lighting. I'm going to put some lighting up in here, and then another one in the front. The trailer comes from the factory with one LED light in it, and it's not bad, but at the racetrack or on the side of the highway in the dark, I want bright lights, and I'm going to power these off of just my Milwaukee 18 volt drill batteries. I'll show you what I got going on there. So these are the lights I'm going to use. I've checked them. They're really bright, and they draw less than half an amp each. So they're going to be, really low current draw. They'll run for hours and hours off of an 18 volt Milwaukee battery. So the idea is I'm going to put two of these up in the back, and I'm going to put another one in the front. And again, we'll go back outside, and I'm going to basically run the wires probably along here. They have to go up into the top. I don't know which side yet, maybe this side. But they have to kind of go up, and then they'll get routed into the roof like that, and then run from there, and then up the sides, and basically around back into here. I'll put one here and one over here, and yeah, that'll be kind of it. And then the Milwaukee battery charger is going to get mounted somewhere here, and I've got one of those little electrical connectors for a Milwaukee battery, so I can just plug the battery into it, and I'll put a switch on it, and that'll turn these interior lights on and off. So that's the plan anyway, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, well, got those mounted, and I think you can see it. What I did was I just took a ruler and, made a line where I want them so that they're both even and spaced the same and level, and, just the way it should be. And they come with 3M double-sided adhesive, and it seems to stick pretty good, so hopefully we're not going to have an issue, but I guess that remains to be seen. If we do end up having a problem with the adhesive tape, I've got an idea to solve that mechanically, but for now we're going to try the tape and see what happens.
3 days later.
Hey guys, back here in the shop. Actually, I'm out behind my shop working on my trailer for my drag and drive. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to build a bracket to hold my Milwaukee battery charger on the wall of the trailer. So I'll kind of take you over here and kind of show you what I'm thinking, and we'll see how it's going to work out. So here on the wall of the trailer, I'm going to probably mount my Milwaukee battery charger, and let me put this in the right way. And so the idea is to just bend this up out of a piece of aluminum, and I'll mount the charger kind of on an angle like that to help hold the battery in it, and just keep it from falling out, should the trailer get shaken or something. And then I'm going to put an AC run through the wall here someplace. There'll be an AC strip here. I'm going to plug the battery charger into it. I can plug my little air compressor into it, that sort of stuff. So this is kind of what I've been working on. This stuff here, I think I might have shown some of this in a previous video. So Milwaukee battery holder goes here, fused to a switch, and then the switch runs up to LED lights in the roof and up there, and then that allows me to have lights in the trailer just using the Milwaukee battery power, and I don't have to fire up a generator or something stopped on the side of the road at Oh Dark 30 and I need to get in the trailer and look for something. I'll have my lights. So, and I've got the energy from the Milwaukee batteries, so I might as well use it. So anyway, that's what I'm working on, and going to make this bracket. I'm going to bend this up out of some aluminum and see what happens. Now here's the chunk of aluminum that I'm going to use. Just basically, took my cardboard template, traced it out, and I'm going to take it over, and I'm probably going to use my little shear here to trim that out and get it cut, and then we'll go over to the brake and bend it up. There we go. Not too bad. Still pretty straight. So I think we're going to be okay. And I just trim this bottom part off. Maybe leave that just a little bit extra long. We went a little crooked there on that first attempt. Let's see if we can correct that a little bit. Better. Okay, so now we got to go over to the brake and bend it up. Okay, we'll see if we can get this in there nice and square and straight. I got my little square here just to make double sure that my bend is going to be square to the material. It looks pretty good, so we'll just give that a go here. It's probably more of a bend than I need, but that's okay. So now this bend's got to go the other direction, and this one only needs to be a few degrees. It doesn't have to be such a severe bend. Actually, I probably shouldn't have made that one quite as big as I did, but I can always straighten that out a little bit. I can always just pull that back a little bit if I need to, so that's okay. Let's put this in here this way, and we'll put the bend in that one. Again, check it for square, so make sure we get everything nice and square. And this one doesn't have to be quite as much of an angle. I'm gonna start there. Maybe a little more. Okay, and let's put this one in it, and again, not as much as I put in the first one. That was kind of overdid that one a little bit. Squared up and about like that. That's gonna, let's see, how does this go? This goes in here like this. Yeah, it'll fit like that. So this bend may even be too much, but we'll go out to the trailer and, sorry, I was way out of the shot. So this is roughly in the ballpark of what I'm thinking, but we'll go to the trailer and fit it up, and we'll see how it's going to work. Alright, so this is going to go something like this. This will fit in here. I don't know if it'll slide up under that piece or not. It might. be kind of cool. Just kind of trap that up there. And this comes down here, like so. Yeah, I got to take a little more bend out of that top piece, but that's going to go like that. And the battery charger is going to sit on there, like so. So, all right, we're getting there.
A few moments later.
Okay, well, we've massaged this a little bit and we've got it basically sitting nice and flat on both of these surfaces. So we're just going to give it a bit of a test fit here. See how it goes, see if it goes up into place. Yeah, looks pretty good. And I'll put the Makita, I'll mount the Makita piece to this, and I'll be able to put the screws in it and tighten them up so it won't come loose, and yeah, hopefully we should be in business. So we'll move on to mounting the battery charger. Okay, well, we've got it mounted. Threw a coat of paint on it, cleaned it up a little bit, and we got it mounted. And the battery will go in it like that, and the 12-volt battery can go in here and get charged. It's good and solid. It's not going to go anywhere. And then when I'm not using the battery in the charger, I can take it out of there, and it can go in this mount, and then turn this switch on, and we get LEDs lit up there. And also up there. And then we turn that switch off, and then we can just go ahead and take the battery out of there. And it can go back in the charger, or it can go in, you know, with the tool or whatever. But I figured, since I'm going to have these batteries with me all the time anyway in the tools, I might as well use them for the lights in the trailer, and, you know, have the charger kind of handy. So that job's done. I'm going to mount the AC power bar in here someplace, and I'll run the cord so it basically, most of it will be hidden behind here. And yeah, so the next thing to do is I'm going to add a pouch basically for my floor jack, and I'm going to mount that on the door of the trailer, just so that, you know, we've got a place to store that, and it's not going to be rolling around inside. So I actually decided not to put it on the door for a bunch of reasons, and I ended up mounting my jack pocket over here on the side. I didn't need or want the additional weight on these hinges. They'll probably be sturdy enough, but I just thought the door would maybe be a handier spot for paper towels, brake cleaner, you know, some stuff like that you need kind of regularly in the pits. So I think I'm going to use it for that. Plus, this way all of the weight is actually sitting right on the floor, so I don't have to worry about, you know, weighing it all down. I did put screws in the side on the aluminum frame inside the trailer, so I mean, it's in there, it's sturdy, it's strong, it's not going to go anywhere. But I decided to do it that way, and it's just as easy to get to. Open the door and the jack's right here. I'm going to use an aluminum jack from probably from Harbor Freight, for as often as it's going to get used, and what I'm going to use it for. I think that's going to last me long enough. And so, yeah, that's kind of the plan there. So we've got everything now except the AC wiring to do. So I'm going to run an outlet from the outside. My generator will plug into it, and it'll provide AC to the inside. And I just got to figure out where the best place is to maybe route that. I don't know if I want to do it, you know, down low or if I want to do it somewhere close to where the AC outlet's going to be, or you know what it's going to look like on the outside of the trailer. So you know, I was kind of thinking, you know, down in this area someplace, but it really could go anywhere. I'm not going to put it up front because I would just have to run a cord then, like all the way from up front to the back, and that doesn't make any sense, and it just gives me the opportunity to pinch wires and stuff when I don't need to. So I'm going to try and minimize any exposed wiring in here or anything that could be fragile. I want to be able to just move stuff in and out and not have to worry about, you know, things getting pinched or bent or cut or something. So yeah, I'm going to figure out where that AC is going to come through. That'll be next.
3 weeks later.
Okay, well, show you a little bit more progress on the trailer. I have installed the AC power bar, and that goes down to that connection there, which allows me to connect an extension cord from the outside of the trailer right there. And you just lift this up, you plug your extension cord in there. Hopefully you can get a good shot of that, sun and shadows. Anyway, that's done. So now I've got AC wired in here, and the trailer's far from finished, but got my little pancake air compressor, which is all I'll need at the track for blowing stuff off and airing up tires and stuff, and some jack stands and some other stuff. This is the rack that the floor jack and handle's going to fit into, and you know, like I said, we're far from finished, but just giving a quick idea of what we got here. So as we said in the previous videos, the Milwaukee charger, and I take a Milwaukee battery, plug it in here, and I can turn the lights in the trailer on and off without being connected to shore power. And then if I want to charge things, you know, USB stuff, run the air compressor, you know, whatever I've got, I can always plug it in right here, and I've got easy access to nice clean 110 volts. So that's kind of it for now. We'll kind of wrap up this section of this video for now. I'll bring you back to the trailer when I get a little more organized and I figure out how I'm going to do stuff. There's going to be a rack that goes on the back door for storage and paper towels, and a little shelf and stuff to work on, just to make it more convenient in the pits. Anyway, I just figured I'd give you a quick update. That's where we are right now. In a few months I'll bring you back when I get around to working on the rest of this, and we'll finish it off. Thanks for watching.